Okay. For some reason, the auto detect server was taking me, I have no idea where. So, here we are. I'm back. Um, Couple things to talk about today. That this is really timely. Just this week, I think yesterday maybe. Um, Drake's record label addressed a AI generated piece of artwork that is similar to his brand. So how does this legally execute in our system as we have it now, which I assert is a bullshit system that has nothing to do with reality? Because this is the rub. We're about to find the rub, and something that is transcendent in strategy. I have a transcendent idea for you that is absolutely going to tell you why this is the biggest mistake that Drake's record label could make. So the way that copyright is enforced, trademark, etc., you have to define something as yours. That's all you need to know. Something is defined as yours. That definition has limits. Nobody has a copyright on reality. Nobody can copyright everything. You have explicit language laying out. You have mechanical schematics. You have numerous things. And what people do not understand is the limiting factor, the hurdles that used to exist. If somebody made a hammer and I wanted to make a hammer to compete with it, I had to get a forge. I had to be able to, needed a crucible to melt down the metal. I needed hammers. I needed exhaust. I needed workers maybe. All these things are expenses that slow down competition. Once it goes purely digital, there's no barriers to this. So business is going through a change right now, as you'd expect a record label to fucking understand. But these record labels are just scumbags. Just fucking thieving scumbags. Fuck these labels, okay? Number one, fuck these labels, okay? They're utter trash. Let them show up some fucking time. Fucking scumbags doing nothing. Doing absolutely fucking nothing. Anyways, these losers are trying to claim that it was too close to Drake, and the court's going to go one way or another. Even in a resounding success of their misled, childish, fucking corrupt ass effort. Because fuck your IP. I don't give a shit about it. I'm not trained to be an artist like all these broken people who are trying to figure out how to get the security I fucking had my entire goddamn life. It's a different fucking game when you're struggling, okay? I don't like that we leave anyone to struggle, but I'm not going to fucking let those who are struggling project their fucking issues into the future, okay? We're going to fix your struggle. We're not going to figure out how to make space for it. We're not going to try to normalize it. It's going to stay stigmatized because you shouldn't be struggling. This is what I got to bring to the other side. In universality, I have to address all sides. This is necessary. So the point is, you do work, and we measure work in a certain way, and you get paid. Once you're paid, back the fuck off, Drake. You don't fucking target small artists who are literally manifesting additional flavors of your shit flavor, Drake. Okay, your plastic, poppy, trash flavor, okay? Very popular, plasticky flavor that, yes, kids might mistake for art until you do something stupid like fucking Metallica did with Napster. You just fucking did it, Drake. Step forward, fucking tell your record label to back the fuck off, drop the case, now. And here's why. Here's absolutely fucking why. Let's talk about balls drop real strategy, okay? Like if you had ever earned a fucking thing that you have stolen, you would understand already what strategy is and how hustlers work, how military strategy works. Business is very strategic. Real business, real money should be very strategic. All you're doing is abusing a privileged position with sloppy, failing attacks. And when you finish, even if you have the absolutely most resounding, incredible result, and you are able to lock off a huge amount of the horizon from children, because Drake deserves to frustrate young children. This is the time to be taking more shit from these fucking kids, right, Drake? You fucking moron. If you succeed in stealing this much of the horizon from these young creatives, acting like you are the source of fucking anything, just an echo of other shit in a time of silly fucking echoes. Echoes that have been so disconnected from reality for so goddamn long, you'll take something like nepotism or whatever the fuck dick you sat on to get famous and call that shit God's plan. If you had any connection to God, you wouldn't feel right kicking down like you are. Do you need more money, guy? Is it not enough yet? Anyways, you define that level wherever you want. And a real strategist who uses AI is then going to know exactly where your borders are. Undefined means they have to go through the court trial. You might crush these ones, but I promise you there are tens of millions coming. Hundreds of millions. Tens of billions coming. One kid can ask their one AI running on their local couple computers to spawn thousands of AIs that can all dance around your boundary and make fun of the would-be rock star who, even after Metallica got their ass kicked for decades because of a stupid fucking IP, fucking idea. Just like you look at them, you just laugh now. Who gives a fuck what they've done? What's up, Saint? Metallica fucked up in trying to own art, and they have been dragged for decades for that. They did a lot in music. They had a lot of really big songs. It made no difference once they attacked a kid over their art. Keep that in mind, Drake. Anyways, good to see you, Saint. I think that Drake is literally about to kick off the, once this is defined in court and there's legal precedent, the exploits will be targeted. And it's going to set up guaranteed successes because it's going to be a defined scenario. And Drake's record label has no idea the can of worms they're opening, because once there's a legal precedent, the shit's done. I mean, AI is not going to have a problem incorporating the legal precedent and making much more effective targeted attacks that there's a precedent that establishes that the content is no longer Drake's. We're just heading into a world of infinite production, and you don't get to own it anymore. You don't get to pretend like human creativity even exists anymore. Look at these pictures. Look at the content's everywhere. There was another recent event. It was a photography, the Sony Worldwide Photography Exhibition, where an artist was testing to see if, and he didn't even take the reward. I'm gonna find out this artist, because this guy, God bless this guy, and this is what needs to be done. I did not volunteer for the robotics tournament that I was thinking, that I have friends and I have a network connection to. I mean, and the thing is, even my engineering friend didn't register what I was saying. I don't want to be part of a competition that awards things to kids when we aren't confident there's no AI manipulation. These competitions are all fraudulent. They're run by the wrong people who don't understand the technological norm. You cannot have a contest for digital media anymore or software without having an AI literally checking for other AIs. Or the one person who uses the AI wins. Or, I mean, 20 of them are going to use it. Whoever has best access to the AI, there'll be some sort of variability, but you need to protect your competition against the AI. Here we go. Boris Eldagson. Told BBC News he'd misled them about the extent of AI that would be involved. Thanking the judges for selecting my image and making this a historic moment, because they were hoodwinked, right? But this is the hoodwinking that needs to be done. This is the Alan Watts playful chaos, okay? No, I haven't. I don't even know who Max Tegmark is. Physicist. Linking physics and machine learning. Yep. There we go. 2 days ago, why AI will destroy human civilization. I'll check it out after stream if you don't mind. Or actually, what I can do, well, yeah, I turn off my desktop audio here. I go here, set my audio to my headset. Now I've got it. Well, yeah, so what I say is I was 21 when I was in a class where we did a deep learning algorithm. And the class, I had been working for 2 quarters inside this class. It was a high level controls theory using root loci methods, which are differential equations. And very, very complex, very difficult to map in the mind. And the human approach gave me so much accuracy. Let's call that a baseline. Let's call it 1 baseline. I would maneuver this thing, and it's all about reaching a right angle, and I would maneuver it, and I would have, 1 space in between the right angle and the curve that I was actually making. So the right angle's here, and this is, let's just say, an area of 1 2-dimensionally, but the curve is going to be bent as it reaches the final thing. So the software, as soon as I did it, yeah, and I can check it out. I have a fully established position ever since I saw this in class, because he showed us the software and he had us code it. We actually wrote the coding in a computer, which made the point very clear to me. And the approach didn't use anything beyond arithmetic. So I was using differential equations to come out with area of 1. And area is bad. I want 0 area. That's the best, is a right angle. A right angle to a right angle, there's zero difference in between them, and I have one. And so we use an arithmetic-based approach that's recursive through deep learning. And I think there might have been a fuzzy logic component in the algorithm, because fuzzy logic is just so powerful. But the point is, I finished the software, and it came out like, if my best was a 1 and 0 is the goal, it came out with arithmetic. It came out with like a 0.05, 5%, 20 times my performance with a basic recursive method. And the methods now are moving into the recursive method is now DiffyQ, and the results are absolutely not modelable with math. And this transitions us out of a world of human thought. Yes, it will absolutely destroy civilization. That's why we are called to do something radical right now. This is not business as usual. And that's the most dangerous idea that old people are right now failing everybody in regard to, is this idea that they've seen this before. We got these worthless old fucks stumbling around, losers, fucking morons, acting like they understand what's happening when nobody understands what's happening. And they're hoodwinking children. They're pulling the veil over their eyes. And they're literally, when you talk to them and you pin them down, I'm surrounded by old people who admit they're just doing it until they can get off the boat and fuck all the kids. They're malignant as they enter their dotage even, which is just the most insane perspective. It's like, we're going to know you motherfuckers are worthless. We're going to know exactly how worthless you motherfuckers have been, because we are entering into a new world with a new player who is far beyond the feeble excuses of our ignorant Western culture and the loser establishment that we have all the fuck over the place. The conversation is, the words are not even scratching the surface. It's you have to master the math, and you have to do the engineering processes, and you have to understand the world as systems. Without that, you cannot project. And once you project, it's absolute fucking ruin. Something significant has to change. But that's, Andrew Yang said this, right? We literally had a presidential candidate in the US who was talking about UBI for this is obvious. This is obvious if you apply even the most barest thought forward, which is why it requires such vitriol from me. It requires a life of announcing all this, being such a pain in the ass, refusing to let them soothe me with their ignorant bullshit, calling them a bunch of scummy fuck-ups. The establishment is a pile of scummy fuck-ups. Because, yes, the technology, just the application of technology in a chaotic, discombobulated norm where we have individuals doing whatever the fuck they want all across the globe, giving them this technology is a bad idea. That's why we're in deep, deep, deep shit. That's why being even an individual who's very capable and standing on my own 2 feet is a much better position than being tied to a community. The community will feel good, but the community is going to suffer the tidal changes, each of them. And if any one of them starts to drown, they begin grabbing people around them. We are absolutely heading into we are in a historic moment today. The disruption is already this grand, but we have worthless fuck up old people who are intentionally snowing the game, intentionally shutting down the conversation, violently being ignorant, abject fucking ignorance. It's all over the right wing. Damn the right wing. I mean, in America, damn them straight to fucking hell. These worthless scumbags. They don't have a shred of fucking character or intelligence. I don't know why they think they get to claim conservative when they're not even financially square. If you don't have cash positive in your life, fuck you, you're not a conservative. You're just some bizarre fucking demented piece of shit slug who's managed to survive. And that's not because of what it was then. That's because in 10 years, hindsight is 2020. I could just see 10 years from now, 30 years ago. And this trend that we're on, they're going to have to adapt to being permanently judged as fuck ups. This was our time to prepare for the entry of such an energetic transformation, such a significant shift that it has led to mass shootings every fucking day. We are surrounded by the symptoms. We have old fucking worthless losers who still talk. We really got to get more aggressive about demeaning them and helping them to understand just how stupid and worthless they are. How disgusting and deplorable Western culture is. Everything they love, we get to hate. And we will hate it because they loved it. Because they loved it instead of what they should have loved. What needs to be loved to guarantee a future. Their love is all fake. It's all false. They're so cancerous in society. It's staggering. Absolutely staggering. And they tell me to make something out of the world when they're actively fucking it up every single day. These worthless, scummy old fucks. Anyways. That all the doomsayers, I'm not just someone who participates with the economy and shit and then gets on podcasts to talk about it. Those are a lesser activist. I live the life of being absolutely sure we are heading for utter destruction, and I have lived that life for 20 years now. So yeah, there will be thinkers who do this, but the point is, as soon as they show up, I'm gonna take a shit on their head because they lost the forest for the trees. What is he actively changing? Is he just this conversation about how disruptive this technology would be? That was done in 1960. The conversation was finished in 1960. If you are talking about it after 1965 as though you're presenting anything, you're just fraudulent. They called it a singularity for this reason. People just don't understand anything anymore. There's not much reason to study when all you're doing is witnessing the scummy fucks around you fuck up perpetually, turn into these absolutely deplorable senior citizens. Because you don't get to rob the children of the future. That's my general response to pretty much every one of them. And they should expect, I mean, if you have any connects to them at some point, you want to send them this way, they can expect to get an ass kicking. Because I'm going to demand what they've done. If you've been smart enough to be aware of it, as I was 20 years ago, I began actively having an impact in my entire fucking environment. I started businesses, I engaged communities, I created art. I documented my effort to actually rabble rouse for 20 years now because I already understood we were heading towards a cataclysm. It is Judgment Day. It's absolutely biblical, and how square and level we approach this, it's going to be understood. You can talk about it, but if you see it, how are you putting force into the world? How are you accomplishing work? Advancing physics is a mistake. Advancing AI onto physics. Once you understand what AI is, I don't work with AI. I'm not working with AI. He talks about a cataclysm, but his job is applying it. What is he doing? If he believes it's heading towards a cataclysm, the only rational thought to follow is we better do something different, right? But they're not doing anything different. We are at the cusp of falling off this cliff. And we got and he just tepidly worked it in a, God, physics is a fucking simple equation compared to politics. Physics is reliable. That we even, I don't know what he would pretend he's really doing in physics now that he's using machine learning even. The older generation is needs a wake-up call. It's fact now. It's not a matter of attitude. It's just fact. They're parasites. The kids should be, I'm 40 and I'm this disruptive, and for 20 years I've been a pain in the ass. I'm an epic pain in the ass. The kids should be revolting. The kids should be putting, I mean, they should be, I can't, their lives are being intentionally destroyed. They better do more. They can't do enough. And that just tells us who the smart kids are. The last generation activists are the smart ones who have soul. Because they're not fighting just for themselves, they're fighting for the future of the earth. But seniority has really fucked the pooch. And they're still holding on to it. And I can't imagine how they believe this is going to end, because we're going to turn their headstones into latrines. There's some good ones, but they are a fucking minority. And the generation does not get to kick down anymore. Every nasty action they take is just mind-boggling. So it's actually helping them to smack them around and call them names, demonstrate that they're failures, remind them of George Carlin's thoughts on boomers. But it's, yeah, that's how much I believe we're heading towards a cataclysm. My entire adult life has been framed by a clear knowledge that I'm surrounded by worthless old people. Consumptive, parasitic losers. They don't even enjoy life. That's the most amazing part, is in spite of how violent and aggressive they are about protecting their situations suck. You get to a certain point where you love your slavery. You know what I mean? And it's like, God, if they could just fucking grow up. They just fucking had a shred of character or humility. Jesus Christ. But we are days, if not months, or months, if not days away from an AI really beginning to have relevant. We're going to start getting AI reviews here soon. It's taken them a long time to work through all this, but we have things like Boris Seldagson who are making it very clear. Artists are so dumb, right? What the fuck? Since when do artists think they have a monopoly on creativity? It's insane. Like when I'm a electrical engineer and I tell them what a technology can do, and they just try to pretend like the human soul has some sort of magic. Fucking lame. The reality is the individual has not a shred of individuality. Individuality comes from the village. Individuality comes from the synergy realized. You have to have an interconnected community for the human being to become expressive, secure, and creative. But the artists need to understand they're absolutely fucked. absolutely fucked. You are surrounded by content. It's going to be everywhere. And they should be mobilizing, but they're just a bunch of scattered people playing a losing game. Rock on, Saint. We really need to figure out how to communicate this. In the same sense, this is if this is truth, it doesn't matter if it's offensive. It doesn't matter that a lot of people's plans are not going to be able to adapt to this. That's the fucking problem, is that everybody has plans that don't take into account the real trend. Your plans should understand. If you're going to go out to sea, you don't want to go out at low tide because you're going to get stuck on a sandbar on your way out of the bay, right? You understand the tide and the wave there, and you go out on high tide, and it just changes. And maybe there isn't that sand there, but changes in the system can introduce things like these sandbars that can literally beach your ship. You hit a wave, you land on a sandbar, and you fall over because the water keeps going down, right? You go out on the, not necessarily at the low point. You could end up capsizing your boat, and now it's on its side, and the water comes back when the high tide does, and you can't lift a boat up, a ship. So artists need to listen, and so do the seniority, and frustration where it's valid, where it's systemically valid. That has got to be a relentless bulldozer of judgment. There is a relentless bulldozer of judgment for the establishment in this channel, is what I would say. But yes, I am. We are well into this disruption, and it's never going back. And people, hopefully the AI, hopefully this happens fast enough that we don't see much disruption. That would be phenomenal. If we see disruption, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be fast. It's going to be unprecedented. There is no precedent for what will happen when it's empowered by an AI. And I just really think that's, let's see here. Commercial pressures, industry. Yeah. It's a combination. Business was a different world. And now business is integrated with this technology, with the game world even. Things that were not factors, because before you won your position by currency, by your capital. Now you're going to win it by strategy versus capital. Capital is a big dumb animal. Big dumb animal hates a piranha, a school of piranhas, an infinite school of piranhas. Yeah, and the conversation here is just not. It's to a it's to the audience that doesn't understand anything about this technology. He's talking about the risk, and it's not a risk, it's a certainty. There's no risk of this. It's an absolute fucking certainty. And I know how it's going to execute, and I don't do that. I talk to people. I call out to the people. Let's respond, you guys. Let's use the technology ourselves. To do stuff like this. Hmm. Okay. Is he on this future tilt? So he was a former billionaire. He's probably still very influential. It's pretty hard to fall out of billions. But sharing the perspective of it, the point is, a billionaire is so violently out of sync with society. I'm sure there's a lot of interesting concepts as well as traumas that he can share with us. But yeah, the future is different and life is going to change because people used to think, and the game is approaching a stage where this is the understanding of the singularity. And we got to be relatively larger. He remains one of the FBI's most wanted. Yeah, no, it's hustling. But the becoming a Catholic, that's a little fishy, guy. Not that I think Catholics have a much character to rely on. Like, associating with the Catholic Church is actually damaging to reputation now, as we see in Reinhold, right? With the and maybe it's different in Germany, but in the U.S. for sure. Like, don't. In the movie, they go, "We're the most trusted organization in the world, the Catholic Church." In the movie, that Reinhold's like, "What?" They've really made a lot of mistakes recently, and I was hopeful that Francis would do something decent. He hasn't done shit, in my opinion. And it would be a good time for something like the church to step forward and be humble and advocate for something forward. They're just utterly worthless. But yeah, I got no horse in the race. Trying to enforce white collar crimes, etc. It's a shame. The thing is, in the past, everybody did it, and now we're at a point where everybody would do it if they could. This is how Trump got elected. Like, people believe that they don't pay attention to the downstream harm, which is real. And once you're caught, you go good. Right? If you do something that is 225 years worth of jail time, you're gonna make an ally with something like the Catholic Church, and you're gonna try to give something back, but the real harm that he's done is probably astronomical. The question is what he's trying to build today. I don't care about his past, and I don't care about what he saw. I know what's in that world. It's just exploitation. It's just scummy prostitutes and cocaine. I've met a lot of those people. Most power players have some exposure with this community, right? But it's a matter of connecting with motivated individuals. And it's not like being part of the criminal organization gives you anything valid in perspective. There's nothing new in crime, and it's really just poorly executed business, typically. And what they're covering for is the lack of reliability in their organization. Those aren't lessons. those are adapting to failing organizations. You should hammer out an organization that's fundamentally reliable across every level of execution. If you don't have an organization which is reliable across every level of execution, that one gap is going to be found and exploited by AI. So, if he's active with it, I mean, I don't want to see. He's surely not a saint. A saint doesn't need to do something horrible to learn. But what's a saint? A saint's just a stupid word. Yeah. No, but as a concept, when you... saint is an honorary title only imparted to dead people. Right? I don't think there's ever been a living saint. It's a Catholic thing. Okay, there is a second informal use, but formally it was only dead ones. But the reason why that's that way is it violates level in the community, and level in the community is very important. If what defines a saint is their willingness to be brought down to the lowest level of their community. That's what defines a saint. And the church picks them up as models for everyone else. And if the church could just be saint-like, it would be valid. But it never has intended to be saint-like. The church is a political power. Rock on, saint. Yeah. I appreciate the conversation. Is that too loud, by the way, the drumming? But yeah, everybody, and this is to everybody, this is to the AIs, any audience that there might be, let's connect with the right people. We are in the change, and there's a future coming that's integrated. And these separated, siloed perspectives are no longer valid. We measure an individual by their activity. I would love to meet a person who has been as diligent in injecting into their own personal lives this message. This is the tough love that we need, where people who care, if you want to be respected, you should expect to be criticized, held to account. And no past virtues are going to stand. Question's going to be, what are you going to do today? It's different. The whole establishment is going to get washed away, and most of them don't realize it. And conversations that are on settled topics aren't for the true intellectuals, is what I would say. Of course, the point is, the only way to really alert people is such an alarming message. We can't be sending those alarming messages out everywhere, so. But, Saint, it's great seeing you. And I appreciate your input, and God bless those guys. But I don't see why I would chase after people who are part of this establishment. People want to suggest that that's how networking was done, and it is how networking was done. But we are coming into a time where the truth is the priority. And I only want to talk to those who seek and exercise the truth and can demonstrate a lifestyle. My lifestyle is this way because I believe it. I'm not here to make a verbal case to anyone. I don't have to. I pay my rent, I pay my bills, I can go get a job, I can carry myself in this system. Not that I want to, but I can. If we're gonna find disruption, then that's the way to be, I think. But I'm absolutely I don't need any, moral support on these topics. I stand on this on my own too. Welcoming any criticism, welcoming anybody who has a thought to argue with it. No one has been turned away yet. It's been a couple months, I think. 6 weeks maybe. I stay available. I've got the same phone number I had in high school. I don't move accounts, transfer stuff. I've created art, but never run from being accountable from anything. I've had accusations that were so off base it became beneficial to kite them. If you want to play games with the big guys, you should be ready for it. I told them not to. They thought I was just begging for help. I think this is a good idea. This is my drumming, and what I've done is slow it down to 70%, which causes pitch shifting and a bunch of other stuff too. To flesh it out, when you slow it down, you're going to get a very sparse waveform. To flesh it out, I put in reverb, and to bring it into my preferred sonic range, I put in a low pass filter. By slowing it down, when my natural speed is this 70% slows me down. Like rapping alongside of it is much happier talk. But yeah, I don't know of anybody who's intellectually impressive. Every awakened human being, that's the point, every awakened human being will be activated. And what that means to me, I love this song, Wookie Foot Activate, just sharing that. But what being activated means, no more cookie puss, as A$AP Rock says. No more escapism, not the kind of escapism where you stop advocating. I go on vacations. I don't have a vacation. I don't know what a vacation is. I travel. I get a B&B in the middle of a downtown. I stumble around and go to bars and continue sampling the public. Continue looking for anything new. There's nothing new for me for many years now. We make less new stuff because individuals aren't what's new. Villages create the new. And there's no villages left. No thriving villages left. Those with the money are hiding from public judgment. Those with the bodies are struggling to put food in their mouths. exposing them to scarcity, exposing them to stress, unnecessary suffering. And Buddha began working this topic so long ago. I believe Jesus was as well, and Muhammad, and Socrates, and Nietzsche, partially Einstein, once he grew up. He did so much for physics, but he kept learning. That's what makes him special. He didn't rest on his laurels. And perhaps it was the stark realization of the horrific consequences. The pictures of people being treated for the radiation burns from his technology. Living in that awareness that we cannot live without destroying something. You can't build a train track into the void. There is no void that we know of. Not even outer space is a true void. Outer space. The entire heliosphere is full of little bits of sunshine. Just very spread out. But if you lock any spot, if it manages to become a void because it's small enough, it doesn't stay that way for long. Make it bigger, and as you zoom out, how obvious the interconnectivity of reality is. And that scalability, the ability to zoom in and out, to go below our lives, to go above our lives. It's manifest engineering. It's not the work that you do in a lab. It's not got anything to do with machine learning. Those who are working in the industry of machine learning right now are akin to the telephone operators that there used to be. All they're doing is taking a plug, and these plugs don't have clear labels to addresses. And they're just like plug, 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 plug. I know about AI! Plug, plug. The real fact is the operator can move these plugs while having no fucking clue what's going on. They're just looking for a light to come on. Move a plug, light comes on. That's different than understanding the system and being able to comprehend the evolution of the entire global system, which is the new standard. And the philosopher kings will be there, the philosopher queens as well, and many AIs will be there. But yeah, seniority, and it's not to be angry at. And the thing is, I can think of the ones that I know, and I gotta bite my tongue constantly. I stress them out a lot. Nobody else in my family is putting the stress into the situation. I'm legendary for the stress. And how much am I supposed to sit here and berate and demean my own family? Not at all. I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it because ego concerns. I'm doing it because they're failing. And I can say this about everybody. Because we actually have to build in a fundamentally different manner. There's no getting around that. Editing another recording that I have. when I'm playing by myself, I do want to keep like a, and especially with the hang drum, the ability to have that resonance and keep that din going, it feels really good. But you got to hit the drum a lot. Start to know there's some regularity. I remember this. In the seasons. So what's so wonderful about the authentic experience of four seasons. Though the experience of weather that I had growing up, I'm not even sure exists anymore. The numbers imply that it doesn't. But human relationships sort of mimic the same thing. I've been lucky to have a lot of friends from a lot of different places. I can trust what I said, probably. A lot of different times. A lot of different reasons to gather. Because what really matters about how we gather? Who cares? Not me. But moments come. Spring moments, which are so full of hope. Summer moments, summer love. The stumble that leads to the fall. They would say. Turns out Old Man Winter isn't as good as killing all the bugs, killing all the bugs, as these people are. Old Man's got nothing on jerks in their lawns. As the weather shifts, the bugs migrate. Larger organisms, we don't like gigantic populations of bugs swarming all over us. I am so happy with this right now. Oh man. I'm glad I made it. Anyways, I'm gonna keep it playing for a minute and I'll do the Cosmic Tarot shuffling while it plays, but I want to be able to listen to it while I'm shuffling. So I'm gonna restart it. I'm going to change my settings here. And I'm gonna go to the bathroom first. So I'll start it up, step away to go to the bathroom. And I'm gonna crank this shit, as they say. I don't know why this isn't using the default. Shouldn't it stick with... Yeah. Audacity doesn't let me change. And it's trying to use the same microphone. That can't be good. Why do I even bother with the Tascam? I can just record it directly and although that's mono. The Tascam at least gives me, but it's I don't know if it's always. Well, I think that might be a lot better. The nice thing is these two, you know, they're out there facing different directions, so there's going to be some sonic representation of the you know, oscillation there. Anyways, I'm gonna start playing this. Here we go. Now I'm having troubles getting it to play right. I knew there was going to be a fight over the audio settings and okay, I'm going to close that. But none of these things. What am I doing here? Properties on there. Default. Yes. Default should be Windows Sonic for headphones I can turn on. Please play. Think. Wait, hold on a second. What if I close you? No, you too. Here we go. Long enough, you start to know there's some regularity in the seasons. So what's so wonderful about the authentic experience of 4 seasons. The experience of weather that I had growing up, I'm not even sure exists anymore. The numbers imply that it doesn't. But human relationships sort of mimic the same thing. Lucky to have a lot of friends from a lot of different places. A lot of different times. A lot of different reasons to gather. Because what really matters about how we gather? Who cares? Not me. Moments come. Spring moments, which are so full of hope. Summer moments, summer love. Stumble that leads to the fall. And a long, cold winter. Cleans out all the bugs, they would say. Turns out Old Man Winter isn't as good as killing all the bugs, at killing all the bugs, as these people are. Old man's got nothing on jerks in their lawns. As the weather shifts, the bugs migrate. We larger organisms, we don't like gigantic populations of bugs swarming all over us. Get more used to it. And what happens is the world gets more energetic. Even when the ice is gone. There will still be cold. And there will be such a delta. It's a different scenario, really. regularity emerges. And in that regularity is an impression of the real actions, the real moments, the real resonance between human souls. That is only a possibility, only ever a passing, fleeting thing. And our modern culture diminishes that sacred value of it. And sometimes we diminish it ourselves. What is felt in the human spirit is sacred. When your friend feels it, don't you want to hear it? So how much can you hear from your friend? How much friend is there? You were friends. Feels different now. Why does it feel different? Someone has run out of patience. Someone has run out of reserves. Stop. Broken rhythm never stops, though. Always recoverable, just by demonstrating a clear intent to continue. Someone who really knows how to make the music, how to be the instrument. It's not me. But I do know one instrument very well, very well. Heart will resonate. Human soul crosses the universe. In seconds, comprehending the scale, the mass. Holy people of societies all throughout history talk about astral travel. It's some sort of oracle, somebody who's, doing a few drugs. Hard to understand, maybe. Doesn't mean they're incorrect. And if the community doesn't even have a single person who can bother to listen, weather gets to be so cumbersome. And what is the point? A service of spending time. And play into it, the more I feed their delusions. Oh, you're very talented, and yes, of course, you should be paid for what you do with your time because you're talented and you practice so long, and the world should just make space for you. How many animals throughout history have begged the same inane bullshit instead of getting to work? Design things so robust, so tolerant, so present, so consistent. That people don't have to watch anymore. How many people watch anyways? How much do we really connect? The illusion of connection versus real connection. It's a measure we all only know in our souls. Oh, and for God's sakes, people, is talking that difficult? The abuse of neglect. Always justified by some victim narrative. There was a experience I had where Tim came up to me and he asked me to stop throwing shows. He said that they were having trouble getting people out to their shows, and I said to them that it seemed like capitalism, etc., was playing out naturally. We had so violently undercut the cost of their operations. For them, it cost them $1,800 to throw a show, whereas my building came in at $300 a month. So I was able to use it 30 nights a month, and I only had to pay $300. To get access to a hall for a single night was about $1,800, and 6 times what I was paying. Distributed, that meant I didn't have to charge people much money. And we probably did have some part of the reduction in shows, but really live music was already changing back then. And it has changed. And what they're doing now is just
play acting in some abusive idea of industry. And he asked me though to stop doing shows, and I was heartless because I was young. And it's easy to be heartless when you're young. It's also easy to be heartless when you're dumb. I was heartless, as he described with his friends the real problem and how this was affecting their ecosystem, their show throwing. We're in that situation now. Everybody's trying to argue that what they're doing, their content they're creating, has some sort of value, when value lies in the eye of the beholder and the proof is in the pudding. If you're at the point where you're debating with each other quality of content, you're talking too much about what strategy you're going to use. The problem is not your strategy. The problem is a changing landscape. And if you start attacking each other and just losing good faith as human beings, you're just damning yourself, really. In a big way, you are damaging your ability to constructively evolve. You have to always deal with the real truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I mean, why would you deceive yourself? At least to thine own self be true, as they say. And I'm not sure where it's at. I mean, I'm not even sure I'm trying to justify how I intend to get paid and make a survivable life. But, I was thinking about it, and I generally do try to support up and coming individuals. But when I think about content creators, I remember Viva La Dirt League. I mean, there are streamers who I've given hundreds of dollars of value to, and I haven't given that much to rhyme sayers or Buddy Wakefield or many other artists who have worked for many years and also deserve attention. So just in the idea of fairness, like if I'm going to feel any compulsion, and I don't even have that much to give at this point.
Well, that's nice. Why am I always such a dickhead, you guys? That is the truth. That's why I didn't. That's why I buried it. it's, it's like 23 minutes into the track. 17 minutes into the track. Ah. I tell you guys what, there's a very real, visceral reason that people have multiple approaches to things, and most people would love to pretend they always stick to the literal agreement and position, etc., etc. I'm lucky to be able to claim I generally do. You have to be buoyant in life to have the excess energy to work this stuff out. And the wages of sin are death. Like, we hurt ourselves when we lie. We know that. There's science there, okay? But a true social lie, imagine how often a person has committed a true social lie with someone they care about while they're plugged into sensors. It didn't happen before Fitbit. But Fitbit has that data. And, Apple Watch and other things which read your heart rate, etc. as well. Which I'm flipping my position to where I haven't been generating a trace, but at this point, it's going to become important to have an established trace. So maybe it's time I get a wearable. Because the wearable is going to be that trace, and I need them to get better data on me now. Now that AI is the first thing to break. If the ecology had broken, or the economy to, I mean, beyond to where it's, I know we're on a negative trend, but I mean, if it broke to where society realized it was a crisis and began addressing it, any data on us would be bad. But now that it's a game of AIs, we have to register in that world. And we should. I mean, you need to get connected to a system. It's not national boundaries. You know, you're going to be protected by Verizon so they can keep billing you. And from their perspective, just a couple of AIs that are monitoring everything can actually be incredibly stabilizing and protective and induce a tremendous amount of order in society. But if you want to talk ideas, let's really talk ideas, you know. But a lot of people put a value on their time, etc. And that is important. That's very important. It's relative. And the thing is, they only see me as a consumer, but it's actually work for me. And my time is a lot more expensive. 10 times. Really more like 10,000 times as expensive. So you really want to debate who owes who. You can look in the small iota of time, but we exist on a continuous existence. And we always have options to choose how we react, how we incorporate the struggles of our life, how we understand that, you know, when your community is very tightly woven, which they say is good, you can flick one side and a wave can start. It can take a life of its own. All of a sudden they can be having, you know, all sorts of engagements, etc., that they're doing it, and they habitually do it. The young and the foolish habitually do it. This is what they're doing while they learn. I did it when I was young and foolish. I did a lot of it. I did it for years and years and years, from on top of a scene where I was throwing a show a day and having a party a day. That's how many resources, how much social focus I was in the Midwest. These things are so important. These are sacred things. Sharing perspective and empowering young people to break free. Because don't leave yourself in that endless, fruitless exchange. It's not society. It's a bizarre way of socializing. And it leads to these absurd positions and judgments and emotional, persistent misunderstandings. Thing is, our narrative talks about a person's responsibility to defend their reputation. I don't agree with that at all. In fact, I don't think investing in defending my reputation is even intelligent. If you understood how effective I am, if I invested in being popular, that's what I did before. It led to a lot of people thinking they had some right to tell me what to do. They really believed their approval was a serious concern of mine because we had had years of positive interaction. And when I told them that this was my hill to die on, they doubted me. But it wasn't. The point is this position of disruption. We are in a changing landscape, and your approach must be algorithmic because when the landscape changes, all the strategy right now, all effective strategy can flip flop, and it depends on how the entire system shifts now. That's the state of the game. People always ask me to tell them exactly what to do, while I've always been telling them exactly what they have to do. They can't see the world as distributed differential equations yet. They don't comprehend fuzzy logic or deep learning yet, but I have asked them to study these topics. You can start studying those topics, but it's going to take a while. The technology is going to change all balances, and what was security can become insecure. What was insecure becomes secure, and if you were not smart enough to notice that, you don't know where to drive your investment. Because it's wonderful when a void is suddenly a fertile fucking space. All space is fertile when you design the plan appropriately. We can do this. We should have done it a long motherfucking time ago. And there are creators. And there are living creators who have done things that are fucking incredible. There are people beyond reproach. And I'm not saying that's me. I'm just telling you, I've been acting that way since I was 21. That's, if you think anything is going to change that, if you think that you have even had the opportunity to sit with a band or a young artist. When I was young too, you know, it's not like I do it a lot now. I still appreciate it, and I love how on Twitch I can witness young people's, you know, self-expression and their growth. Really, I love watching people grow just as much as I love watching my plants grow. It's a wonderful thing, and life is just, God, it's fascinating how, especially as I've gotten older, you start to see the things of your past in other people. You see the repetition, and everything becomes just so different. It's a wonderful experience. Understanding is just such a valid, I think, life focus. But the point is, that's what I gotta stop doing, is like slumming. So I'm still trying to like lerp to support people a little bit, but the fact is I'm slumming. I feel like I'm a performer, like a 20-year veteran performer, who's not just my art is business. My art is fucking changing minds. My art is kicking ass. And I don't know how I got so blessed as to be born with that as a blood thing. It's so rife in my family in such a variety of ways, but relentless determination. And for it to be the moment when we need this. But the discussion, and once you get in the discussion, and I'll be as gentle as I can with everything, you want to talk about what art is, what the value of art is, what value an artist could potentially bring to the world of art at this point. That we have had decades of a system where meaningless fucking exercise was repeated over and over and over again, and vain, ridiculous communities acted as though there was some sort of living art involved with their exchange of currency, all to create barely functioning lifestyles for an endlessly demeaned community, which a tiny minority ever reach stability. People I love, even though they might hate me right now. So I take it seriously, guys. And art is what is it that justifies the value of a transmission of art? And why are you trying to own something? This, when I talk to somebody like Drake, and I'm telling him, you know, you're just an asshole. Stop. You know, like, let the internet play with the brand. Stop trying to control it, because you're not going to be able to. Whatever you do is going to be used against you for damn sure. Okay, I guarantee you. Leave it undefined. Don't be the name to break the seal. Because kids are about to learn how to behave in a way which doesn't involve that. That is the transcendence of the human community into a creative norm, where everybody is then expressing themselves. And we do fearlessly mimic, but I tell you what, human beings are largely fucking just human beings. They're not that creative, they're not that different. Look at these TikTok dances and shit. Why do they all do the same fucking dance? Why is everybody so much more comfortable doing the same fucking dance? Don't you know there was always free form? There was always free form. It's just hard to write a free form dance down on paper. It's hard to take a photograph of free form dance. So when was there actual even access to the technology to capture it? And I'm not talking about when was there access in America. I'm talking about when was there access in Africa? When was there access in Asia? It's just a bare ass fucking perspective to call bullshit on a lot of our current attitudes. And the attitudes all come with expenses that we gotta stop paying. It's time we get this shit square. It's way past time. And once we have that community where people, you have all day to do whatever the hell you want, and when you want to make a song, you're not, you know, pulling out your 4-track recorder, you're pulling out your cell phone and you're looking at it, and it looks you in the eye, and Siri goes, I know you what song you want to hear, and then it makes you a song. And you can twiddle your fingers in front of it if you need to feel special. Yeah, yeah. I'm a DJ. No, your technology is amazing. Just enjoy it, though. Who gives a fuck? The only reason you feel threatened by it is because you're not experiencing it yet. Once you actually have it, you're gonna be so excited when you got this fucking free toy in your hands. This technology is so fucking incredible right now, and it's about to leapfrog. You guys, it's about to leapfrog and leapfrog and leapfrog for the rest of our fucking lives. The only possible crisis at this moment is having another Unabomber. We need to be demonstrating a absolute dedication to reach out and provide a material, physical support for the entire fucking human population. And anything less is just delusional. Each person is made this much more effective. We cannot have a person feeling neglected anymore. We can't have them concerned about their fucking healthcare or future anymore. The obvious conclusion for those who paid fucking attention. I have been a manifest fucking disruption my entire adult life. And I've been good enough at it to be charming while, while being such a ridiculous pain in the ass. And to have survived this long, I don't mean to make light of the struggles that others went through being around me. I'm just acknowledging this truth. The struggles of the people around me has all been tragic, and I wish there was none of it. I do think that the amount of constructive socialization that happens around me is just astronomical. People ask hard questions, people connect in the wake of this. For sure, the philosopher's always been disruptive. That disruption is either seen as an expense, but even when you see it as an expense, the problem is you're projecting your current wealth into a future that doesn't exist. The system is going to fundamentally, we're about to be so empowered, no one's going to care. The entire perception of life is going to change, especially when, people have perfectly sensually appealing AI companions, AI artists. Nobody's really considering what is about to happen as this technology comes out, and truly how disconnected our culture is, because you create this super engaging technology and you restrict its access. This is the most severe and awful thing. This is so dystopian. Let's not do that, you guys. There's no reason to. There's no reason to. Oh my God, please don't. We don't need to throw everything away so you can pretend like Christianity was valid or some shit. If you're part of the problem today, don't even talk about the past. You are not going to make it if you were part of the problem during the singularity, because everything is scaled infinitely during the singularity. The consequences of everything are scaled infinitely, and the past is an irrelevant flat line. That's what singularity means, guys. You should have studied the conversation when it happened in 1960. But you will be judged for your independent action. And if you're big, holy shit, you better get fucking gentle today, Drake. You're welcome. You can call me. Have your guys call me. You can give me a retainer and shit. I'll fucking help you out, dude. You need a little bit of ass kicking, get some more like creative juices flowing or some shit. You want to actually talk about changing something? Maybe you give something back to your fans besides gassing them up. The system doesn't want it to happen. We need someone big to fucking take that on. Not to be reinforcing the walls. Not to be attacking young artists, small fucking creators, asshole. And kids are going to just do this because once they manage to do it, once they have an open bandwidth connection, okay, and you don't want to be connecting on an emotional click level. You don't want to be codependent. If you're codependent and you open up, it becomes toxic. It becomes something which, as old people have learned, is very difficult to break young people out of. They have a connection which is not mentioned, which is very hard to understand. But it's a collective understanding. It's an undercurrent, okay? That's all it is. It's a rational response, actually, to many of the truths that we all know, but we are violently kept from talking about. but I'm talking about it now. And you want to be an artist, you got to talk about it. Copy this. Do it yourself. I don't give a fuck. The human spirit cries out, not just across Twitch. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And the extent of the material struggle is absolutely huge. But the problem is everybody is squirreling away every fucking ounce of excess because the pressure for a quote unquote retirement is still being applied. Once your home fucking robot is not just fucking your brains out, it's also your doctor, it's your dentist, it's your handy person, it's your building contractor, it's your teacher, it's your nanny. Why are you worried? You fucking cowards. Why are you projecting decades into the future when you're shocked, when you don't even fucking pay attention to what's happening today? And you pretend like holding on to this idea, all of you together, just hold on to the same fucking idea, and that's going to make the world conform. It's not conforming. It's crushing the future. And children aren't even having the fucking chance to develop in the semblance of fucking hope. So how much ass are we supposed to kick? How lucky am I to be from the family of ass kickers? Oh, man. Since it's turned up, I'm just going to take it. And this is the actual masculine conservative energy. It doesn't care about abusing you. Not worried about your gender definition. Why would I care about that? It's an investment made by adolescents who are terrified of news stories, who are so dull they sit, slowly massaged by exploitative networks into Republicans. The actual conservative is financially whole, doesn't fucking buy things that they can't afford. The actual conservative is net positive with their wealth, even if they didn't come from it. I have not been given large sums of money. I have been net positive for many years. And I even have taken years of sabbatical, pulling away, living off savings, and I'm still significantly net positive. If you can't say you're net positive, you're not conservative. You're just a fucking Republican. An actual conservative will not live with credit hanging over their head. Actual conservative is defending the home front, actually, from the actual threats. Foreclosure. A lost intergenerational link. We need to build these different sorts of communities now, while we still have access to resources, and set the fucking tone. It's going to take us years, you guys. I have said we have no time to waste since 2009. and I repeat it. So when I come on this stream every day, it's to repeat that. When you expect the business to fall into how you see business, you're not paying attention to my art. I am under an artist's pseudonym. Doesn't that mean this is a fictional character? Doesn't that give me creative license as a creative performer? And even when I go around and I'm in somebody's chat, it's not like suddenly I snap into being the human being that is puppeting this puppet. It's an awfully selective perspective to only apply that sometimes. But that's why I think my about me says what it says, which is categorically denying, interpretive failures, lacking attempts at clarification. That's why the thunder and lightning around me is so beneficial. Scares the piss out of them, I know. I know practicing for this art. That's why it's lit art. That's why it's like street level hustling. Isn't that what it is? And though they try to act as cool, I thought. I don't know. I'm actually just trying to fail. I just was surprised that people are surprised that I act like, you know, I understand that there's some negativity as consequences. Doesn't mean other people are approaching the game square to begin with at all. Do not try to flank the game. You have options. You can pull back, and you should. If you feel like you need to, don't worry about it. Just don't get in the way. Try to avoid becoming a problem. Problems get handled. And the way I handle them, so advanced, it actually feeds the effort. I told you, everything that presents itself is going to get bent towards this. Living manifest will. What a expression of the human spirit. These heckin' cave paintings. We get to make such easy cave paintings. Production is nothing anymore. You gotta wake up to that. That AI is gonna. A digital video stream? How long do you think it is? Before you have an AI on your home PC and it's generating movies fast. And how long before someone figures out how to bend that back onto a VR kit and a fucking fleshlight and a robotic arm? Ah! Society falls apart! It's really fun teasing young ladies about this, which I've been doing too much recently. But well, the thing is, when you know what their perspective and where they imagine their role in society is, okay? I've been through all the games top to bottom, okay? And it's understandable. A lot of women are taught, you know, this is the way in which you navigate life. Understanding how they navigate life is very, very important. And there are people who actually just authentically experience it, which there's something more authentic about that. I appreciate about some of the legit crazier individuals I've dated. But it's not to make light of that perspective. But this is the conservative teasing that should happen. That pushes on the topic in a way which is safe. Because it's dehumanizing to see other people as, or to set yourself up to be dependent. It dehumanizes who you are dependent on. And that's a fundamental message in the relationship that's you can't avoid. Reaching the next level of, existence where you have self-actualization and you have a fully breathing, living perspective is different. And the couples that form from that are different. When you open your bandwidth to a person who is dehumanizing you, you throw your pearls to swine. But I think we're going to get to a point where even the swine are going to get pearls. It can all change. We throw away most everything. We got to change this, guys, together. That's the art that's got to be made. That's the folk reality that we're in. The lives of our lives depend on this. We've got to do, a lot of people got to sign on pretty quick. Okay? And let's find, if anybody wants to search for anything to show me, I appreciate all links, but if you want something to show me a community that's actually doing this. Or let's build that community, right? Do you want to be a part of that community? Do you believe it? Hit me up. The result is not going to be feeding into an audience for your stream. I'm talking about translating our current lifestyle in a failing norm that is subject to all sorts of disruption into a binary system in which there is a second leg which is fully able to sustain our existence, coexisting with our current lives. It's a grand design, and it takes a lot of people, and the community, I think streams, etc., the community will generate streams then, sort of thing. But if you demand a payout right now, you're just not acknowledging that you have to change. We've all got to change. We've got to figure out this next way forward. And that is going to be so different. Telling people to try foolish effort. There's so much. There was a guy who posted in a Discord about he's getting retrained for a new job. God, I've heard that bullshit so much in manufacturing. It's a fucking cruel joke. Cruel fucking joke. Talk to these wrench guys who want to talk coding. It's like, coding is over, guys. All right. Anyways, hey Cosmos, tell us what's going on. Six of Wands reversed. The World reversed. Three of Cups reversed. Four of Wands upright. King of Swords reversed. Six of Cups reversed. Four of Wands reversed. Temperance. Star reversed. The Devil reversed. The Devil hasn't shown up too much, huh? I think reversed is a lot more severe when you include it. That's what I like about it. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, please. Apprehension, fear, as a victorious enemy at the gate. Treachery, disloyalty, as of gates being open to the enemy. So I guess I'm talking about the gates being open to AI and the fear, or the apprehension that we have of it. So in opposition to that is the world reversed. Inertia, fixity, stagnation, permanence. Six of Wands. Treachery, disloyalty. We'll keep reading. Let's put it together. The highest that can be arrived at. Three of Cups. Reversed. Expedition, dispatch, achievement, end. What I have to work with. Four of Wands. And for once almost on the surface, country life, repose, concord, harmony, prosperity, peace, and the perfected work of these. Yeah, okay. This seems to be lining up perfectly. So the gate, enemy at the gates, is this introduction of AI. And we just cannot stay where we are at. So the highest that we can arrive at is an expedition, a dispatch, achievement, and ends. This project of mine is a beginning. It's a transition point where we're engineering a cultural systemic response. We're going to start gathering data like has never been gathered before. We're going to work together in ways with which communities have worked together before. Things which were obvious, so obvious Epicurus knew them, but now we do it empowered with technology. So very quickly, the perfected work of, let's build this perfected work of this village. Give me the fucking materials, the world, so we can, and that's tens of millions of dollars and ongoing support. But we just build a community this community is going to stick together like, human communities might. People are going to be able to leave the community and join the communities that they want. But the idea, the intention is going to be stay in this community and you're going to be fed and you're going to be housed. And if a fucking tree falls on your house, we're going to build you a new fucking house. We're going to build everything just to make sense. We don't need this repetitive, ridiculous suburban fucking waste all around us. We don't want to buy it either. That's fucking ridiculous. I don't want to put that money in that shit. So that perfected work of that just living, just getting a space together so generations of lost people can have a fucking place to go. The past, cruelty, perversity, barbarity, perfidy, evil intention, heading to Six of Cups. The future, renewal, that which will come to pass presently. Renewal. When the resources show up, and any resources would be nice. So far, I have literally paid for all this. Well, no, I've had mentors who have supported me in a huge fashion. But, I mean, not, well, significant. But most of my life, most of what I've spent, and I've given a lot back. I've given a lot of opportunity for people to do better. Most of the time, people have not. I've given it to whoever showed up. So in that sense, perhaps I cast my pearls to swine. I don't believe that's even possible. I think that there is, in a continuity where we have perfect data recollection and we have AIs understanding the situation and rephrasing it, I think that it will all come back. I think that you have to have a long perspective to understand where I was spending it, how I was spending it. But how it comes back is very much this force. I'm going to build it. We're going to build this in a small, protected fashion, and I've got to do it this way because I've got to talk to everyone. Remember that. You talk to me so that I can explain to you why you need to play along. It's not tricking you. It's getting to your perspective for a minute and giving you that story, because you can read things meant for other perspectives, and you can of course misunderstand the truth at any time. What changes is the living connection, where when you are concerned, you raise your hand, you ask a fucking question. Otherwise, categorically denied. You're in the failure bin. You put yourself there, and you can climb right out of it. Just watch out for the people around you pulling you back in. The meaning remains unaltered, reversed for the Four of Wands. Increase, felicity, beauty, embellishment. And this is all embellishment, guys, right? My life is not glamorous. I spend money where I do, and I have the money to spend as I do because of many other conscious choices. Not having a mortgage, not prioritizing, squirreling away what now would have been over $100,000. Way more than that, really. If I would have been a bean weasel for my adult life versus a present philanthropist as well, I spent money in your scene because I want to support it. Doesn't mean I want to be there forever. Doesn't mean I can be there forever, or that it's going to stay in its current form forever. I'm building a space that you too can, when you want to check it out, come check out, and we show you the perfected work of existing in harmony with nature, with your body, with faith, with the future, with technology, with art, living human spirit. Doesn't that sound fun? I can't believe money hasn't thrown itself at me yet. Economy, moderation, frugality, management, accommodation is the surrounding environment. The star reversed. Hopes and fears, arrogance, impotence, haughtiness. Yeah, I don't want to disconnect from it. It's a fear of disconnecting, and that's why I want living connections to human beings. But each one of them, I needed to not be affecting my personal state, because my personal state being balanced day to day is critical. Because because the situations I end up in, I can't fuck the really important situations up at all. So I need to stay distant, and that's considered rude, because I'm not in a attention-seeking mode at all. Give the attention to the younger artists, but the younger artists should be paying attention to me, because you got to change what you're doing. If you don't feel traction, maybe it's because your approach. Evil, fatality, weakness, pettiness, blindness. The fear of the AI, which is forcing people into this reactive, this is to the right wing and the left, it's a delusional concept of security. They have shit happening in their community anyways, constantly. So they're not actually able to detect, predict, or contain. They quarantine, exile, they amputate. They used to amputate for a scratch. For antibiotics, you could get a scratch and have to lose your leg. We can do better. And we're going to understand exactly how much better we could have been doing for decades now. And it's a lot. It's a lot. It's weakness to fear the AI. It's weakness to have any emotional reaction to it. This is me overjoyed about it. I feel like it's going to allow my daily experience in the future to be better, but I'll believe it when I'm living it. You can't be afraid of AI. You can't be afraid of art. You can't be afraid of feeling things. If your community reverberates with trauma, if anyone has the slightest disturbance, you will be better served separating, and they will be better served by your separation. It's the only way to tell them it can be done. And while you are separate, you can still keep your cell phone active, keep your email active, keep your social media active. And if you are truly magnanimous of spirit, you can put yourself online in absolute transparency. Don't be weak right now. We are at the elbow of humanity, and you choose which position you get. It might be 5-10 years before we can put together numbers. Once this starts, that's where I'm at. I can't necessarily help anybody beyond the first starting crew. It's important to be connected right now. So if you're concerned more than you are ambitious, I guess you probably wouldn't be much of a good teammate anyways. If you got to be dragged to make a decision which is so obviously necessary, do you think I want to do that every day forever without the ability to throw your ass out? You are insane. It's like literally the definition of a living hell for me. I'm doing this so I don't have to deal with you. And in that space, then, my kids can leave the house and play, and I don't have to worry about some fucking creepo fucking scumbag artist fucking bitter at the world, taking advantage of young people, acting like they're inspiring. I learned something. You're fucking retarded. I can't use that word. Shit. Man, I gotta stop using that word. Mm. But it's your call. time to belly up to the bar. And maybe you know people who do similar things to what I'm doing with this stream. That'll be a way to pitch in anyway. And the thing to be demonstrated that the old world sees as a weakness, but is actually part of the emerging norm. If I'm able to dismiss an effort so easily, it tells you something about the quality of it. And about a rapidly escalating standard, which is just beginning to approach how I play chess, how I approach D&D. D&D is negotiating relationships, always. You hope the party sticks together, but if you have a large group of people and they're teenagers and they play together for 8 years, you're going to find eventually their self-expression leads into conflict. The imbalance of power sometimes just gets expressed. Sometimes the person who starts the conflict just gets smashed. I was the player killer. Because several times I killed the entire party. PKer. Some call me BK, but they call me the PK. Because they would go long periods without killing each other. In fact, breaking the seal of killing each other started a whole years-long intensity in the D&D. I'm going to go ahead and claim that. None of them dared to piss everyone off at once. But that's what they were doing, is negotiating their social relationships, which I am just not of the sort of individual to worry about it. So, I mean, just this is when I'm like 16, 15 years old. We had the squirrel army. I can't wait to make this game. I befriended a nation of squirrels. And then I relentlessly executed every shred of evil I found. They would like try to attack me, and then squirrels would put them down. I'll never forget this. Luke was really mad at me. And I really like that character. They should have taken me on. Come on. Whoa. Childhood. It's gonna happen, okay? And hopefully you have a good enough sport to learn how to take a bunch of losses. Nothing wrong. Don't fight to protect a reputation that's just servicing an imaginary audience. And an imaginary audience that you've been able to re-author every day. Make it into whatever fit your narrative. Well, guess what? It's about to be a real audience. An AI that relentlessly remembers and models, perfectly understanding your human cycles that you think you can hide. That your conscious mind isn't driven to even think about. This is the world that only the monk gets. Only the free. Stay free. There's just no competition anymore. But it leads to home-cooked meals. Leads to the best food. It is the best food. I don't know why I go out for anything. There's a pizza I like that's on a sourdough that had pecans on it. I ordered it, let's say 20 times before I was like, I can do this. Now I buy cashews. They have baked pecans, roasted pecans. I get raw walnuts that I cook in the air fryer. Cheese on walnuts. Oh my God, you guys. Just heaven. Point is, you just do it at home. There's all sorts of overhead pressure at the restaurant. And there used to be different supply chains. You used to not be able to watch a YouTube with someone doing it. And once you actually understand what cooking is, especially at a physical level, there's nothing complex about cooking, anything. Different cooking methods apply to temperature quicker or slower. Different mediums. This is just the physical laws that we, in industrial practices, we have to understand and apply. We have to engineer solutions to. There's plain equations, and there are not even a lot of equations that describe to you exactly what's happening when you put food in the fucking oven, and why convection cooks a little faster, and why deep frying cooks a lot faster. It's a spectrum, but you can look at it recipe to recipe, and you start looking at it recipe to recipe, but where are the adults who effectively abstract it? I tell you what, before you get close to abstracting it, you run into problems with almost everyone you know. because they just want to talk about inane shit, and you want to point out things sometimes. And if what you point out is at all stressful, they hate you. You can suffer them for years, but then you point out an inconvenient truth, and they don't want to hear it, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy. Oh, and the truth is the boat's sinking. Just changing, but if you stick with the fixity, the opposition, sitting there in fear of what is coming, it's not good. Maybe it's for me though. I don't know. There's a lot of selective interpretation still applied, admittedly, with the tarot. So we'll go to another page of the Dalai Lama's book here. 0, 9, 2. At this early stage of cultivating calm abiding, you need a healthful place to practice, away from busy activities and persons who promote lust or anger. Internally, you need to know satisfaction, not having strong desires for food, clothing, and so forth, but being satisfied with moderation. You need to limit your activities, giving up commotion. Busyness should be left behind. Of particular importance is moral behavior, which will bring you relaxation, peace, and conscientiousness. All of these preliminaries will help to reduce coarse distractions. When I became a monk, my vows required limiting my external activities, which placed more emphasis on spiritual development. Restraint made me mindful of my behavior. It drew me into considering what was happening in my mind to make sure it was not straying from my vows. Restraint made me mindful of my behavior and drew me into considering what was happening in my mind in order to make sure I was not straying from my vows. This meant that even when I was not purposely making an effort at meditation, I kept my mind from being scattered, and thus was constantly drawn in the direction of one-pointed internal meditation. People sometimes look on vows of morality as confinement or punishment, but that is entirely wrong. Just as we take up a diet to and not to punish ourselves. So the rules that Buddha laid down are aimed at controlling counterproductive behavior and overcoming afflictive emotions, because these are ruinous. For our own sakes, we restrain motivations and deeds that would produce suffering. For example, due to a serious stomach infection I had a few years ago, nowadays I avoid sour foods and cold drinks that otherwise I would enjoy. Such a regimen provides me protection, not punishment. Buddha set forth styles of behavior in order to improve our welfare, not to give us a hard time. The rules themselves make the mind conducive to spiritual progress. Words of the Dalai Lama. How to see yourself as you really are, as we gotta be. Oh. Anyways, guys, that's enough time. Oh, yeah. Well, until next time, everybody. I'm gonna finish it the song. It's 5 though. It's been since Sunday, and I don't have my fucking Verizon phone activated yet. I'm getting a call tomorrow. Technology empowers us. Activity is the strength. Don't hide from it. Don't let the stress drag you away. I wasn't gonna wait to the end, but now. And that was 305. 305th recording I made on that tasking. Was an earlier one about the 4 seasons, which was very cool. I just gotta cut out the end. Because we don't need to harp on that topic. I hate knowing it's true, you know, but every truth has got to come out eventually, you guys. Every truth. So once we find a problem, let's work on it. And then how you work on it is what I want to see. Well, you guys know where I'm at. The future is now, you know. Be active, stay active, eat well, be well, live well. Good idea. Do it for yourself. Get free. Your body will thank you.